Coffee's done. Let's have a seat.
What's up, guys? It's Kendall. It is Monday night. I'm gonna do this video. It's kind of the audio version or video version of the podcast I did earlier, where I talked about this hike that I went on today. So I went to this nature area, Coyote Ridge, I believe is what it is, and it's like south of Fort Collins and then kind of west. At one point on the hike, I was kind of not directly like due west of the Walmart distribution center, Crossroad Boulevard, somewhere in there. I was a little bit north of that, but it was still a great hike, and it was a good test for my knee because my knee is. I walk a lot, but this was different because it was kind of uneven terrain. And I was a little concerned about how it would do because I think the whole trail is like six miles. I think the whole trail. I think I did like 3 or 3.1, something like that. So just under half, which is for me on a new knee, not having hiked, in that type of terrain since probably last fall. I thought my knee did really well. Sore as the dickens tonight and when I get home, but it was almost more my ankles were sore than my knee. But I kind of rested up today. I transplanted my tomato and my pepper plants, which I'm super excited about because they're really starting to come in. So I will have San Marzano tomatoes for sauces, salsas, and I have serrano peppers and jalapenos. So like my two favorite peppers for sure, growing out there, and they've grown. Like I think I put on my Facebook post, I think the tomato plant's grown well over a foot in the last 3 weeks. So it's time to get like a cage around it, or it's just gonna start tipping over. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. And as a former chef, I love to make sauces and experiment with different things. I love working with peppers, heats and different heats and stuff like that. So I'm super excited about that. But yeah, I went on my walk today, and I didn't plan to do the whole thing. That wasn't my goal. My goal was just kind of get out and spend some time with God and see kind of what he had to say to me, because I removed all the noise and the hustle and bustle, right, of my normal everyday life. So I did it. It was really cool because everywhere I went, everything I looked at, it's like all of these things, he just kept showing me different things. And last week at our church, Pastor Derry spoke on, I guess it'd be 2 weeks ago, spoke on the parable of the sower. And so as I'm walking on this path, it's really got me thinking, where's the seed or word of God? Where's it falling? What ground is it falling on with me? And so I had a lot to think about there. And I took a picture of this windy trail. God spoke some stuff to me on that. So it's really cool. It was a great walk, great time to connect with God. I had some worship music playing in my earbuds, and yeah, it was just nice to kind of disconnect. So I want to talk about tonight is, as I got to the end of the trail, well, I guess where I turned around, not the end of the trail, there was two fences that came together, and then there was a gate. Well, it wasn't a gate. There wasn't a gate there, but there was two fences that came together. And I'm looking at this fence, and I put a picture of it up on Facebook earlier. And it was straight, but then it was kind of crooked, and some of the posts were falling over almost, and you could tell had been there a while. And so as I'm looking at this fence, it really got me to thinking, what purpose does a fence serve? I mean, it keeps cattle and horses in, maybe it keeps sheep or whatever critters you have running around your house or your farm. And then a gate allows access to either side or into the fenced off area. And so as I'm looking at this, and I'm just kind of asking God, what are you showing me with this? And what he started to show me was that fence, kind of cordoning off this side and this side, it really is it's like what we do with our heart, right? areas of our heart that are walled off or fenced off, and we don't let anybody in. Whatever's in there stays in there, almost compartmentalizing everything that is in those areas, right? And it got me thinking, when God knocks on the door of our heart, or you could say the gate, I guess, he doesn't force his way in. He doesn't keep pounding, right? Like he knocks in. The one thing God doesn't do is mess with your free will, right? And so you have the choice to open that door, open that gate, or not. God will never, he's a gentleman. He won't barge his way in. But we have a tendency to at times say, okay, God, I'm going to let you into this part of my heart, but only this part. You need to stay in this little corner of the pasture, as it were, or like drawing a line in the sand. You can come this far, but no farther. And so we have a tendency to bring God in as we need him, and we allow him in areas that we want him in, and we don't allow him in areas that we don't want him in, which is unfortunately what we do an awful lot. But when we get into trouble, or there's a situation where we're faced with our own mortality, or family or friend passes, or whatever the case may be, but then we're calling God, going, God, where are you at? Why'd you allow this to happen? See, then we're all about opening up the door and wanting him to come in. But even then, we're still wanting him to stay in that certain room. Like, stay in the entryway, Jesus, stay in the vestibule, like, but give me all the answers. Tell me what I need to know. Fix this for me, or, make them better, whatever the case is. We are a situational user of God. Let's put it that way. It's like a genie, right? Like we're trying to rub the lamp and we want him to pop out when we need him, but otherwise stay in the bottle. I'll get you when I need you. And you know what? A pastor years and years ago, he said, he's either, what did he say? He said he's God of all, or he's God of nothing at all. And by that he meant he's either the Lord of your life, totally, or he's not. There's no in between. It goes in Revelation, talks about a lukewarm Christian. Like, that's the worst place to be. God would rather you be hard-hearted or on fire for him than straddling the fence, like the fence that I saw today. You got to pick a side. You can't just hang out in the middle. So, and I'm looking at this fence, and some of the posts are wooden, and you can tell there's been a while, so there's, they're kind of rotting away a little bit. The wire's rusted. It's not as strong as it used to be. Maybe there's some erosion, right? I grew up in North Dakota where we had a lot of fences because we had a lot of flat land, and you saw this a lot, like fences that were falling down, right, due to neglect, or, just life just happens, right? We just don't even think about it. And when we see that in our own lives, and that's the more we go through, and the longer we live, and we go through all these experiences, that fence in our heart, or that wall, it starts to deteriorate. The wood starts to rot, the wire gets weak, and there comes a time when it may be too late to call upon God, right? And so what we need to do is not call him before it's too late, right? He's a prayer away. He's always with us. So why not let him into our hearts totally? Now it is a process, right? I'm in the process of taking down fences and barriers in my heart to let him in as well. I'm definitely not immune to this. I'm kind of preaching to myself here. But he wants in. He wants to take over. And, in Scripture it talks about, a renewing of your heart and your mind. And once you have salvation and you've accepted Christ, then that transformation should start to happen. You should see a renewing of the heart, a renewing of the mind. you look at things differently, you see things differently. And again, I could tie this back into the parable of the sower, but I don't want to go there tonight because I'm talking about the fence. So I'm looking at this going, Lord, what areas in my life do I still have a fence up that I won't open the gate, or I won't take the fence down? Because he's not going to barge through it. He's still going to respect your free will. Now, everything that happens, every decision you make through free will has consequences, and he's got a plan for everything. Everything ends up glorifying him one way or another. So I would just encourage you this week to start to look at areas in your heart that you've cordoned off. You won't let God in, or you're keeping God in this little room back here. I just want you to hang out there, Jesus, and I'll come get you when I need you. Sorry, kids, that's not how Christ works. He's God of all, or he's not God at all, right? It's one or the other. You can't summon him when you need him. So I would encourage you to look within yourself and see what areas you need to work on, as far as, God, what do I need to relinquish control of? What do I need to turn over to you so that I can begin to have that inner peace? Because I'm telling you, once you have the inner peace of God, there's nothing better. You want nothing else, ever. And it's not easy being a Christian. I don't care what Joel Osteen says. It's not all, rainbows and unicorns, right? Being a Christian, it just amplifies the target on your back in a lot of ways. You better be ready to be persecuted, hated, talked bad about, you name it, right? People are gunning for you. But to know that Christ is in your corner and he's got you. And yeah, you're going to go through some uncomfortable times. When you're taking down these fences, taking down these walls, you're going to go through some uncomfortable things in your life. But anything worth doing, it's not going to be easy, right? There's going to be some days you're going to stumble and fall, but you know what? You get back up the next day, or you get up that day and you pray and you start over. You try it again. We're getting into habitual sins right there, right? We'll talk about that later. But I don't want to go on much farther about this because it's already at 12 minutes. I just encourage you, look deep in your heart and see where you got God. What box do you have God in? Because he wants out of that box. He wants to enrich your life. He wants to bless you. He wants to open doors for you. Not saying that he can't or that he won't. But if you think he's a God that's just on call, you're worshiping the wrong God. So anyway, that would be my challenge to you this week. Find those areas and start letting him in. Start letting God in, and he'll overtake your heart. Producing your heart changes, your mind changes, your whole outlook changes. You don't look at things as the world looks at them. You look at things through Christ-centered eyes. So anyway, I'm going to leave you with a scripture today, all the way back to the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verses 24 to 26. All right, here we go. And it's kind of a prayer or a blessing as we go. The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. And the Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And I think that give thee peace. We're in a world right now that we need that peace, right? There's a lot going on. It changes by the minute. We need that peace of God. Seek him, find him, and he'll guide you. Have a great night. Have a great week. Be blessed.